Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you all for joining. We are in the Bhagavad-gita 18 chapter 18-day program. We completed until chapter 13. We are now going to read chapter 14 today. Let me share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, let me put in presentation mode. Can you still see the screen in the presentation mode?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. So,
No, but we can see two screens. It's a
the split screen?
presentation. Yeah.
Okay.
One is prayer, another one Gita.
Not a big screen.
How about now?
No change. Yeah. Now it's changed.
Okay, great. So we are in the Bhagavad Gita discussion. We are discussing about the essence of Bhagavad Gita. It is not a complete detailed study, but just to give an overview of the chapter and touch the important points so that you all get inspired to read Bhagavad Gita. And Gita Gyan means like this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is going to help us navigate anything in our life. So some of the glories of it is written from different scriptures. So one of it is from the Haribhakti Vilasa. It says, "O Narada, I have personally seen that a person who happily reads Bhagavad Gita during the month of Kartika does not return to this world of birth and death." And before we discuss about any spiritual topics, we say a few prayers so that I will be able to speak in accordance with the previous acharyas, and you will be able to also listen to this and take the essence of it and use it in your life. So it's like a service to Krishna. So please say along with me, we'll say together. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Can you all still hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear.
So we are dedicating this program to ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He is the founder of the whole Hare Krishna movement that is spreading far and wide in this entire world. And we are inspired to do this program by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, who is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He lives in Mayapur and he is one of the senior members of the ISKCON community. So these are also some of the other glories of Bhagavad Gita. Anyone wants to read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Mataji.
The son of Devaki, the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, cannot be satisfied by anyone's study of the Vedas, charity, sacrifice, pilgrimage, or vows, as much as he is satisfied by the devotional recitation of the Gita. Shri Vaishnav Viya Tantra Sara, verses 22.
So basically, we can understand from this verse that Krishna will not be satisfied as much by studying Vedas or doing charity or sacrifice or going on a pilgrimage, but he is more satisfied by just sitting and reading Bhagavad Gita. See the importance of Bhagavad Gita, that immediately Krishna will become pleased by doing that. So we'll do a quick recap after chapter 13 and chapter 13 is the beginning of Gnana Yoga. And then Arjuna was asking Krishna that he would like to know about Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetragna, and Gnanam and Gneyam. What are the 6 things? What is the material Prakriti? What is Purusha? What is Kshetra? What is Kshetragna? What is Gnanam and Gneyam? Right, which is and Krishna starts explaining that this body is the Kshetra, and the person who resides in the body is the Kshetragna. Means who is the Kshetragna in our case?
Super soul.
Super soul and also the individual soul. So the super soul is
And
the Kshetragna of all bodies. We are the Kshetragna of our individual body. So super soul resides in everybody's heart. We only reside in only in our body. So I know what I did in the past and what I'm doing right now, but I don't know what somebody else is doing. But the Supreme Lord, He's the supreme witness. He knows everything what everyone did. So He's the supreme Kshetragna. We are the individual Kshetragna. And then what else? Yeah, that is what it is written. Here is the knower of all bodies. And then nature is said to be the cause of material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyment. So this is one important thing, right? Even in chapter 3, we have seen basically, we'll see now in chapter 14 also. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvaja ahankaram vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. The whole material nature is the one that is acting, doing the actions in this material world. Because the living entity really doesn't have the ability to do anything. The living entity is just sitting in the body and enjoying the pleasures and sufferings. So then why would we get the karmic results? So let's say we are saying, Bhagavad Gita is saying on one hand that you are not the doer, it is the material nature that is doing. Whatever the body is doing, it is the material nature only that is doing. Then why should the karma come to the living entity? Any
for
guesses?
the question, Brahma.
What is that, Mother?
Nature.
Because if I am not, if somebody killed someone else, but I am not the one killer, why would I get the result?
Karma, previous karma, maybe, I don't know.
Because I told that person to kill, right? So it is my desire. So the living entity has a minute independence. If the minute with that minute independence, if the living entity says that I want to enjoy this, I want to do this, so the power it has, the living entity has, the soul has, is to desire. I want to go and play in that game, or I want to watch TV. Once that desire is there, the Supreme Lord, the Super Soul sitting within the heart, will see that desire. And his only purpose is to fulfill our desires. So what he will do is, the Super Soul, he will order the material nature to act. So the moment we think that I want to watch TV, immediately he grants it. So our material body gets up, it takes the remote, it turns on the TV, and the super living entity happily watches it and enjoys. Even watching the thing is also done by the body only, but all the thing comes. So since it is the desire of the living entity to do the action, even though the action is done by the material nature, the result is tied to the living entity only. If the living entity did not want to watch the TV would not have been turned on, right? Similarly, if the living entity wanted to do a pious activity, the super soul would have granted it, and then the living entity would have got up and did the pious activity. So the pious result will come to the living entity only. So if someone orders some other person to kill, then when they go to the court, the court will give the punishment to the person who is ordered the person to kill. Of course, since both are the living entities here, the person who killed also get the punishment. But in this case, the material nature is just acting. It doesn't have any desires. It just takes the orders of the super soul. So what are the 3 things that we have? One is the living entity, which is the desirer. Means we are all desiring something. We have the desire. The next one is the director, which is the super soul. Based on the desires, if the desire is so strong, if it is the desire is not so problematic, the super soul will grant immediately. If I want to watch TV so much, then the super soul will grant it right away. But if my desire is to get promotion, but there is another living entity seeking the same promotion, so but there is only one position, So then the super soul will grant only to the person that is most deserving. So all this is very the karma how works it in this ways. So that's why sometimes if other person got the promotion, this person will be sad, thinking that they did not get. But ultimately, it is the super soul that grants based. We'll see that in chapter 18 actually. What are the reasons why something happens? So the super soul will decide that. And what is the last one, which is the doer? So the three D's is desirer, director, and doer. The living entity is the desirer. Based on the desires, the super soul witnesses all the desires and directs the doer, who is the material nature. So ultimately, it is based on all our desires only this material world is moving. So that's why the enjoyments and sufferings, the cause is our desires, and that's why we get the results. Is it clear why we get the results?
Because we desire.
Yes, it is based on our desire.
Mm.
And so this is the same thing. In our body, there is another enjoyer who is just sitting and permitting over. That is what he is, the one who permits. He is known as the super soul based on our desires. And so the things are material nature is the elements that constitute the material world. Purusha is the enjoyer. Kshetram is the body. Kshetragna is the individual soul as well as the super soul. What is Jnanam means? That understanding that we are this, not the body, that the soul that is residing within us. And what is the object of knowledge? To realize that super soul sitting within the heart, or even if we want to know our own real nature, the living entity, that also is the object of knowledge. We will see more about that in chapter 14.
We are supposed to have 14 today, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, this is just a recap.
Yeah, just recap. Yeah.
Very good.
I have one question for 13, if you don't mind.
Yes.
In verse 14, in a purport, it says that only the Brahma, the down to the small end, there are unlimited heads, legs, hands, eyes, unlimited living entities. All are existing in and on the super soul. I just don't understand that sentence. All
Chapter
are
13, what is the verse number?
number 14.
Everywhere are
The
his hands like
purport.
eyes, and he hears everywhere. It is this way super soul exists. So basically, the super soul is all pervading nature. The Supreme Lord is all knowledgeable, means omniscient, omnipresent, right? So this omnipresence nature is being described here. So the whole material nature means we have a body, right? Our body has different hands and legs. Similarly, an ant has different legs and body. So that whole nature is also Krishna's energy only. That's how he is pervading this material world.
Okay. But what is that? Existing, all are existing in and on super soul.
In
Means
and
the
on. Okay.
eyes,
Yeah. So
hands.
yeah.
Yeah.
So existing inside the super soul means basically that is the concept. I don't know if anyone shared, but Krishna expands as Mahavishnu, right? So Mahavishnu is the source of this material world. From Mahavishnu's body, he lies on the causal ocean called Karnodayaka ocean, and from his pores in the body, on the skin, multiple universes keep coming out, and we are in one of those universes. Inside the universe, he again enters into the universe as Garbhodakasai Vishnu, and he lies down at the bottom of the universe, and from his body, the ocean forms, and then a stem from his body comes out, from his navel comes out, and inside the stem, inside the lotus,
Yeah,
Brahma
that's
comes out.
clear. Mhm.
And Brahma again decides to uh, when he sits in meditation to create the material world, then again Vishnu enters into each and every atom as Kshirodakasai Vishnu. So basically, there is nothing that is other than the Vishnu only. We are lying inside the body of Vishnu, and we are also lying on top of. So basically, existing inside means we are all inside this Mahavishnu's body, and we are also residing on the super soul, right? That is how. So in and outside, both, everything. So
So
just to tell that,
Kshirodaksha Vishnu is the same as the super soul.
yes, that's correct. So the super soul
Okay.
goes with multiple
Thank
names.
you.
It is
Mhm.
Kshirodaya Sai Vishnu or Narayana or Paramatma, which is super soul.
Okay, thank you so much. That's what I like. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Hare Krishna.
Mm.
Any other questions? If not, we'll go to chapter 14.
Mm.
The name of the chapter is The Three Modes of Material Nature. So now the Prakriti, more about Prakriti, which is the doer. How it does different activities in this material world is what we will read. So this is if it is an important verse, I will read the verse and you can repeat. But if it is not something that we need to remember, we'll just read the translation in the interest of time. Okay.
Okay.
Someone wants to read the translation?
Yeah, the first one, right? Text one.
Yes. Yeah.
Supreme Personality of God had said, "Again I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained, the supreme perfection."
Jai. What Krishna is saying is now he is going to explain about this knowledge about the material world. If you know that, you will also be able to get liberation from the material world.
Mhm.
Translation, anyone?
The next one.
Yes.
Okay. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attend to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution.
I will read the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Generally, in the material world, whatever knowledge we get is contaminated by the three modes of material nature. Knowledge which is not contaminated by the three modes of nature is called the transcendental knowledge. As soon as one is situated in the transcendental knowledge, he is on the same platform as the Supreme Person. Those who have no knowledge of the spiritual sky hold that after being freed from the material activities of the material form, the spiritual identity becomes formless without any variegatedness. However, just as there is material variegatedness in this world, in the spiritual world there is also variegatedness. Those in ignorance of this think that the spiritual existence is opposite to the material variety, but actually, in the spiritual sky, one attains a spiritual form. There are spiritual activities, there are spiritual situation, and the spiritual situation is called devotional service. That atmosphere is said to be uncontaminated, and there one is equal in quality with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To obtain such knowledge, one must develop all the spiritual qualities. One who thus develops the spiritual qualities is not affected either by the creation or by the destruction of the material world. So what we can understand is any knowledge in this material world is contaminated by the three modes, which is this chapter name. We will see what those three modes are. But there is a knowledge that is above these three modes, which is called the transcendental knowledge. And once we get the transcendental knowledge, we break the cycle of birth and death. Means the material world goes through creation and dissolution, but we don't get impacted because we transcend. We go back to the spiritual world. And the body we get is a spiritual body. And some people might say that once this material world we get liberated, there is no form. The reason that Krishna or Prabhupada explaining is why that understanding we come to that is because that is an easy understanding. Why it is easy understanding? We are so much used to seeing the form in this material world. And in this material world, whatever we see, is there anything that is permanent?
No, no permanent.
We see a building, after a few years, the building goes down, right? If we see a tree, after a few years, maybe some trees live longer, but we see people, and they are no longer there because everything goes into dissolution, destruction. So our mind from millions of lifetimes have gone through different bodies and seen that everything that has a form is impermanent. So but we know that God is permanent. So how we can reconcile? The mind tries to reconcile saying that, oh, since everything has a form and anything that has a form is getting destructed, maybe God doesn't have a form because that's what the mind is used to. So, but what we have to understand is we are trying to create a boundary around the Supreme Lord, saying that God doesn't have a form. That is a misconception. What we have to understand is Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yad gnanam advayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. Means Bhagavatam is saying that the Supreme Lord, the Absolute Truth, is manifested in three forms. One is the Supreme Transcendental form as Bhagavan. The next form is the form as Narayana, as the super soul in everyone's heart. And the third aspect is the formless Brahman. So it is, yeah, we just cannot say that the Lord is always formless. What we can understand from the scriptures is we can understand God in three aspects. One is the formless nature, one is with the form, and of all the forms, ultimately we have seen that in chapter 11 that the topmost form is the Trivanga form of or Shyamasundara form of Krishna. Is it clear that that form is not material nature? That form is spiritual, and if we also meditate on the form, and then if we also render service to the Supreme Lord, we will also get a form that is permanent, not the temporary form that we have. So it's a levels of understanding. If a student goes from third grade to fourth grade, fifth grade, like that. So first, for a student to understand easily, we can say that okay, the Supreme Lord, the scriptures will Vedas will say the Supreme Lord is formless. But what they are meaning by that is the Supreme Lord is doesn't have a material form. Once the person makes some advancement and starts doing more and more service or rendering and text to the knowledge, then they will come to the understanding that the Supreme Lord also has a transcendental form, which is free from any material qualities, but it is also permanent. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Translation, anyone?
Number three.
Yes.
I can do it one more. The total materialist substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings, O son of Bharat.
So the analogy that was given was, Prabhupada says, when you take a pile of rice, suddenly scorpions keep coming out of that. Does it mean that the rice was producing the scorpions? So the rice already had the eggs of the scorpions, which the mother laid at a previous time. And when the right temperature, everything right atmosphere, right circumstances, the scorpion and the eggs became the same thing. So similarly, these universes are all coming from the Mahavishnu's body, and he is impregnating them with all the living entities. That doesn't mean that everything is created within the material world. The source is Vishnu, who has created all those things. We'll see more in the next verse. Sarvayonishu Kaunteya
सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय
कौन्तेय
Murtaya Samantiyah
मूर्तया
सम्बन्धियाः
सम्बन्धियाः
Tasan Brahma Mahadionir
तासां
तासां
ब्रह्ममहद्योनिरहं
ब्रह्ममहद्योनिरहं
Aham Bija Pradah Pita.
बीजप्रदः पितः
Anyone else wants to read the translation?
It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father.
Jai. So basically, what Krishna is saying is, I am the father, seed giving father of Aham Bija Pradah Pita. I am the Pita of everyone. I am the father of everyone. So it's all the way from Brahma to the ant or any other living entities, Krishna is the father. And even the father is there and the siblings are fighting, will the father be happy? No, right? So
No.
same thing. The first and foremost, in order for us to make progress in Krishna consciousness and self-realization is we have to be friendly with all the living entities, which includes animals. That's why we recommend that we should not hurt even animals also. Now comes the what is this material world made up of? Sattvam rajas tamamiti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Who did not get a chance to read? Want to read the translation?
Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. So basically, once our individual soul, which is Atma, comes into this material world, it gets encapsulated, means encaged, as if a parrot is put in a cage. Our soul will get encaged by this material body, and that material body. So you take anything in this material world, it will have three gunas. It's called the sattva, rajas, and tama, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. You can analyze anything, whether it is food, whether it is person's attitude, whether it is some person's knowledge, whether it is the person's ability to understand. All those things are categorized into three modes only. So they are either, say, in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, and we'll see what those qualities are. Translation, anyone?
Tatra, number 6.
Yes.
O sinless one, the mode of your goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge.
So people who are who are free from their past sinful reactions will gradually move to the mode of goodness,
Goodness.
and they are generally happy. They are generally knowledgeable. And some of the examples are, if someone takes the birth in a Brahmana family or scientists, philosophers, poets like that, it is to be understood that they have less sinful reactions in their past. Translation, anyone else?
The mode of passion.
The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fleeting actions.
So 90, maybe with Kali Yuga advancing, maybe less, 70 to 80%. So most people are in the mode of passion. Even the society, the current capitalistic society says that you need to have a passion, right? And what is it about is we all are bound to doing work. I want to work. I want to take care of my family. I want to, but it's the thing we have to understand is the mode of passion is everything goes back to the purpose. Even we have seen in the previous chapters, even a devotee works, even a regular person works, but the difference is why they are working. So the person who is in the mode of passion will always want to work for more and more sense pleasures. I want to earn money. I want to go on a vacation. I want to go to this place. I want to buy a new car. I want to just for enjoyment. So that is the mode of passion. And what they are always hankering for is honor. They want to be glorified in the society. They want to have beautiful wife. They want to have nice children, big farm, big house. All these is all the qualities of person who are in the mode of passion. So we have like 27 verses, so everyone will get a chance. So who did not get a chance to read can read. If nobody reads, then they can read again.
O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness born of ignorance is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul.
Thank you, Mataji. So both the mode of passion binds the living entity. Also, the mode of ignorance binds the living entity. So, and the mode of ignorance is much worse because they are also not working. Means they are causing a burden to everyone. They are mad after, means they are addicted towards their desires. Some people knows where the limit is, which means that in the mode of passion, somebody goes to the office and they go to a social party. Uh, they want to get the good name of their boss. So when they say, "Hey, drink this," they will drink that alcohol, and they know the limit they will not go exceed. But some people are addicted, so they keep on drinking like that. Some people are too lazy, they don't they sleep too much, and they take drugs and all. So those people are in the mode of ignorance, and they are and we'll see what the result of those people are in each of the three modes. And in the mode of goodness person, he will go and he's basically always happy, he or she. So even though the boss says, hey, drink alcohol, they will say, oh, I don't drink, and they will avoid it.
O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness. Passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance covering one's knowledge binds one to madness.
Jay, thank you. So basically, if we are in the mode of goodness, we become happy. If we are in the mode of passion, we keep on working. And if we are in the mode of ignorance, we are mad after something due to some addictions or frustrations and all these things. And some might ask question, am I in the mode of goodness? Am I in the mode of passion? Am I in the mode of ignorance? The answer is you are, we are in all of these modes. Sometimes we are in the mode of goodness. Sometimes, depending on the situation, somebody might push us into the mode of ignorance. Translation, anyone?
Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the mode of passion and ignorance, O son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition of supremacy.
So the body that we got will be put into different circumstances. If in some circumstances we might be in a mode of goodness where we, if everything is conducive, we don't have to become angry, right? But in some situations, if we are in a bad company where everybody is going after like intoxicants, obviously this person will also go after the intoxicants. So ultimately the key is the time, place, circumstance are very important. We have to be very careful about the people who we associate with, because we tend to take the mode of which we belong to. So that's why it is very important, even in spiritual progress, that we associate with devotees only, because we feel inspired by their activities. A man is known by the company they keep. That's what the idiom says, right? Because you keep on going with someone, like if you keep on going with people who are either drinkers or smokers, obviously you will also, at one point the mind will say, why don't you also drink, just to make everyone happy, right? Because that's how the thing company works. So company in the sense the association. Similarly, we also in within our body that goes through different modes of material nature, the three modes, and sometimes we are good, sometimes we are passionate, sometimes we are good. But if we try to uh, move away from all these modes and try to always establish in the mode of transcendence, which is called Shuddha Sattva, then we'll be able to get out of this material world. Yeah, anyone can read all three.
Yeah.
The
The
man-
manifestation.
Okay,
The
go ahead.
manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. O chief of Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So basically, it is said that if we try to seek knowledge, we automatically become, or we gradually become in the mode of goodness. Think about it, right? Even if we take the example of drinking, if we know, if we have the knowledge, and if we apply the knowledge that too much drinking is not good for health, your liver gets damaged, your everything gets damaged, we stop it and we tend to stay away from it. But on the other hand, if we are too, passionate, we still continue to do that, because we are seeking that some result. We are greatly attached to making our boss happy, something like that. So those great attachments happen. Similarly, in the case of family also, or even friends. If we want honor from them, we try to project that we are great people, and for that we work very hard and buy a nice car to show that we are rich, like that. So all those are in the mode of passion, and something in the mode of ignorance, we are basically in darkness. We don't even know what is right, what is wrong. We just don't care that our activities are impacting others badly, but we still continue in the downhill path. And what are the results of somebody who is more good throughout the life, and somebody is more passionate, somebody is very ignorant throughout their life? Translation, anyone can read all three?
Yeah.
When one
Okay.
When
When,
one
when
in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activity. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom.
Jai, thank you, Mataji. So basically, what we have to understand is, if we do pious activities and always be good, we go to the higher planetary system. But if we are very passionate, then of course, in that passion also, if we are doing sinful activities, we will get a bad result. But if we try to always work very hard, then we will get the life in the same form of life, either in the animalistic life or in the human form of life. But if we are doing activities in the mode of ignorance, for sure we'll fall into the animal kingdom. Means because this human form of life is a opportunity that was given for us to go back home, back to Godhead by breaking the cycle. If someone is promoted, it means that they got an additional responsibility. If that responsibility was not taken care, then they will get demoted, right? Same thing. If we did got the human form of life and we wasted it by doing all these mode of ignorance activities, which the animals will do, right? For killing one animal, other eating flesh, like, or sleeping like a sloth, then obviously we will also be going in the next life to the animalistic life. So we should avoid the mode of ignorance completely. Mode of passion, we should try to, we cannot, no, we don't say that we should try to reduce gradually the mode of passion, but we must do as much in the mode of goodness as possible. But how do you differentiate this? Is the easiest way is engaging in the mode of pure goodness, which is Shuddha Sattva, means engaging in devotional service. When we engage ourselves in Krishna's service, everything will become purified. And that's there are some more verses that explains about the three modes. But essentially, what happens is, if we are in the mode of goodness, it is developed by knowledge. And what happens with the mode of goodness is we become happy and satisfied. But then there is one challenge with the mode of goodness. It also brings us some pride. And that is what this mode of goodness also keeps us in the material world only. Because once we are knowledgeable, once we become good and everybody is saying good things about us, then we start feeling pride. And that pride will be keeping us bound here only. In passion, we are attached to activities like that is completely. This is a subtle binding. So sometimes we go to the higher planets and maybe fall down in the mode of goodness, but in the mode of passion, we actually are completely bound by the activities, and it only causes misery. Why? Because all the results that we get is temporary. Why are we working so hard? We buy a new car thinking that my neighbor will say good things about us, and then they don't say anything. So it's a misery, right? So all those things. I'm just an example, but there are so many of our desires. We are just seeking something which basically doesn't give us the thing that we are seeking. And mode of ignorance is only leads us to foolishness because we are foolishly wasting our life. Translation, anyone?
Okay, 16. The
19.
result of pious action is pure and is said to be the mode of
No,
goodness.
19, Mataji. We covered all those. So can
Oh,
you 19?
19. 19. Okay. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature.
You can read the next one also, 20.
When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with material body he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life.
So what Krishna is saying is we have to transcend the three modes. How can we transcend? By always establishing ourselves in the mode of Vishuddha Sattva or Shuddha Sattva, which is nothing but mode of transcendence, mode of pure goodness, where there is no tinge of even that pride also. If we are working for Krishna, if we are getting knowledge, if we are trying to do good things and giving all those things to Krishna only, then what is the, if we are in the mood of a servant of the Supreme Lord, when why will we have any pride? Right? We are just serving Krishna in as a servant, or we are loving him as a friend or a child or like a father, like that. And once we come to or working, establish ourselves in the mode of transcendence, it goes back to the same that we have read again and again in the previous verses. We don't have to leave this body to go back home, back to Godhead. Even within the current body itself, we will be established in the complete permanent happiness that is free from birth, that old age and disease, and we'll be in complete bliss. So what is mentioned is Vaikunta will be established around us. We will feel, we'll become a walking Vaikunta person, where everywhere we go, people around us will feel that happiness. Arjuna then inquired, my dear Lord, what are the symptoms of that person? So Krishna is saying that even the person in this material world, while they are living itself, they are already transcended. So leaving the body is just a matter of namesake, but they're already established in pure goodness. So then Arjuna is asking, how do we identify such a person who has transcended the three modes? Then Krishna is giving the answer. Anyone wants to read the 14.22 to 25?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities, such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature.
Jai. So Krishna is giving the symptoms of that person. For them, they really don't care whether it is a gold coin or a piece of some iron coin. It's a lump of earth. For them, everything is this regular stone or a diamond or some earth, mud. It's the same for them. And having taken a body, everyone has to go through honor and dishonor. You cannot escape it because the dualities are there. Even though we did not make any mistake, people will start blaming us. And for a person established in the three modes, they know that it is the Maya that is acting, that is based on our past desires. I don't have to worry about somebody glorifying me or saying bad things about me. And they really don't have any more a friend or enemy, because everybody, they look at Paramatma within their heart and they say that everybody either by encouraging us as a friend or causing miseries for us as an enemy is giving us an opportunity to purify ourselves, to go back home, back to Godhead, so they don't hate anyone. At the same time, they don't get attached to anyone also, because their only attachment is Krishna. And similarly, if sometimes the body will give them so much knowledge, at the same time they will go through a phase where nothing seems to be working out, nothing seems to make sense in this world, but they don't hate that. They just go through that. This is still the body only. So in that mindset, they are always established on equal vision. So then those are the people who will not get disturbed, and they are the ones that are transcendent to nature. And how is it possible? How to get there? Krishna is giving the answer. Mam chayo vyabicharena
Bhakti
Mam cha yoga
Jaya
vicharena
Bhakti
Bhakti
Yogi
Vyabhicharena
bhakti yogena sevate.
Bhakti
yogena
Yogena
sevate.
Sevate
Sagunan Samatityayitan
Sagunan
Sagunan
samatityan
Samatityayitan
Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate.
Brahma Bhuyaya
kalpate.
Kalpate.
One who engage, in translation, anyone wants to read?
Yeah,
One who
one who
engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman.
Prabhupada says in the purport, as explained before, the material world is acting under the spell of the three modes of material nature. One should not be disturbed by the activities of the material nature. Instead of putting his consciousness in such activities, he may transfer his consciousness to Krishna activities. Krishna activities are known as Bhakti Yoga, always acting for Krishna. This includes not only Krishna, but his different plenary expansions such as Rama and Narayana. He has innumerable expansions. One who is engaged in the service of any of the forms of Krishna or his plenary expansions is considered to be transcendentally situated. One should also note that all forms of Krishna are fully transcendental, blissful, and full of knowledge and eternal. Such personalities of Godhead are omniscient, omnipresent, and they possess all transcendental qualities. So, if one engages himself in the service of Krishna or his expansions with unfailing determination, although these three modes of material nature are very difficult to overcome, one can overcome them easily. See the clue. And what is it written here? If we are engaged in unfailing devotion service, unfailing in all circumstances, means what? If we take a oath, like an initiation, saying that for the rest of my life, I am going to dedicate this life to Krishna, engage only in Krishna's service. That moment, at once, we transcend the three modes of material nature, meaning we are already at the level of Brahman. Meaning, if we commit our life saying that from this point onwards, I am going to engage in Krishna's service, Brahman liberation is guaranteed. Means after this life, we are going to go back to the Brahman realization, which because the Brahman realization is already established. Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. But if we keep on practicing, if we keep on doing that service to Krishna, at the time of leaving the body, we will go back to one of the Vaikuntha planets. So the glory of the devotional service is as soon as you commit yourself that I am going to become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Who is the Supreme Lord? Krishna or any of his expansions like Rama, Narsimha, Narayana, anyone, because everybody is, in terms of potency, they are equally same, completely blissful, full of knowledge and eternal. If we dedicate our life to any of those expansions of Krishna or Krishna himself, then liberation is, we are already on the platform of Brahman, which is completely transcendental. And if we keep doing it towards the end of the life, we will be able to go back to Vaikuntha. But the thing with other yoga processes is you have to keep on doing the endeavor, and there is no guarantee whether it will succeed or not. But Krishna is saying that if you take and commit to Bhakti Yoga, the liberation is automatically happening. This is the last verse in chapter 14. Brahmano hi pratistaham
Brahmano hi pratistham
amrutasya vyayasva cha
Amritasya
Amritasya
vyayasya
Navavachyachena.
shashvatasya cha dharmasya
Shashvatasya च
Shasvata
धर्मस्य
dharmasya
Dharmasya
dharmasya.
sukasyaikantikasya cha.
सुखस्यैकान्तिकस्य च
Sukasya
Kanti kasya cha.
Translation even.
And I am
and
the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness.
So whether we take the devotional service or other yoga processes, which only gives the Brahman realization, which the devotional service gives as soon as we commit ourselves, that Brahman that we realize is also the basis. Who is the basis for that? Krishna is the basis. And when we read the Isha Upanishad, it is mentioned that the analogy that is given is when you have the sun and you get the sunlight from it. The sunlight is all pervading, it goes in all directions. And sometimes if the sunlight is so bright, our eyes cannot even see the sun behind it. It's so bright. Similarly, this Brahman is the all-pervading light of emanating from the Supreme Lord, from the Krishna. So that Brahman, that light, the source is Krishna only. He is the basis. And whether we go to the Brahman platform or to the Paramatma platform or to the Supreme Bhagavan platform, we'll be having the ultimate happiness. But the challenge with the Brahman platform is
You
we,
come back, right?
yeah, patanti ada means
Mhm.
because you try to close yourself in a room and try to stay there for a long time. You cannot stay there alone for a long time. You still want to come out and talk to someone. Similarly, the individual soul always wants to have a relationship. If we go and become a one of the particle in that Brahma Jyoti, you can be there for some time, but the living entity starts to desire. No, this is not good. I want to associate. I want to have a relationship. When that happens, we again will come down to the material world, and it is actually not just something that we are saying here, right? Even the other sampradayas, like other parts of spiritual realization, if don't know, I don't know how many people read the autobiography of a yogi who they follow the Kriya Yoga.
Yes.
What
Okay.
what he says is the Paramahamsa Yogananda, his spiritual master, Yukteswar Maharaj, they say, he is actually trying to help the living entities keep who are going to he explains there are three platforms. One is the current which is the material world, and the next level is called the astral plane, and the third level is called the causal plane. People, when they go do pious activities, they go to the astral plane, which is, and then they still come back, which is exactly what Bhagavad Gita says. But people who have more advanced practice, they go to the causal plane, which is the Brahma Jyoti platform, but they still keep coming back. And his spiritual master is helping those living entities who want to stay in the Brahman platform for a longer time. But unfortunately, that is not possible. They come back. But if we take the shelter of the Krishna, we will be able to get into the Vaikuntha planet. So think of it, this material world, like a jail, right? Prison. Durga, it is called, and it is under the control of Mother Durga, Goddess Durga. And if we get out of this material world by any of the yoga processes, yes, we get out of the material world. We are outside the prison house. But in outside the prison house, we are just wandering here and there. Sooner or later, we might be feel bored and we want to go somewhere. And the only place we know is the prison, so we'll come back. But if somebody is a devotee, outside the prison, there are so many planets, Vaikuntha planets, that are guarded by Jaya and Vijaya, and only the devotees can enter there. So, if we take to devotional service after leaving this material body, we will be escorted actually. It's not like somebody will put us outside the jail gate. The Jaya and Vijaya, they will send the Vishnu Dutas, they will come, take us from this material world, and take us directly inside the Vaikuntha planets. It's like inside the fort. If somebody is there inside, why do they have to worry about again falling to the prison, because they're completely protected inside that. So our goal is to go back to this Vaikuntha planets, not go to this Brahma Jyoti and again fall back. Okay. Any questions?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, Prabhu, what did you mention about the yogi biography? I have read it, but what did you say about
So there are
astral
three things:
and
astral plane and the causal plane. In the astral, it is similar to going to higher planets, where once they leave this body, if they
Vaikuntha,
dies,
right?
not Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is not mentioned even there. They don't even try to. So Vaikuntha is only there with devotional service. You can't go to Vaikuntha, but other processes. The maximum you can go is the Brahman realization only, which is the causal plane he's referring to.
Right.
The
Yeah.
astral plane is in this material world only, but the higher planets, where they will stay there for some many years and feel the happiness and
Like,
come back.
sorry to interrupt, but is it like a demigod's place or not?
Yes, it is where the demigods, Indra, Chandra, they all reside.
Okay. Right. And I always, I mean, confused about the impersonal Brahman. Is the same as the Brahman Jyoti, right?
Yes,
The
impersonal Brahman is Brahma
effulgent.
Jyoti.
Okay, effulgent.
It is so
Yes.
glaring that only the devotees can see the real form. Others are blinded by that glaring Brahmajyoti.
Right.
Prabhuji, one
Thank
question in this, you said that the individual soul always wants a relationship. So, is it the very nature of the soul? Is it made in that way, or what is the exact
Yes,
reason?
yes. The living entity's desire is to get happiness. you can be happy by staying alone also, correct? Which is you're locking yourself in a room, but it doesn't give prolonged happiness. So a living entity, but when you are in associate, if you love someone so deeply, and if you are in their association, you forget time, correct? Same
Yes.
thing here.
Yes.
The real happiness comes when we establish that relationship with the Supreme Lord. And of course, in this material world, we still cannot give complete happiness to the other person, even though we love each other to the topmost, because our material world is our material body is limited. We can't give them unlimited happiness. So sooner or later, even that relationship will come to a point where we want something else. But the God is unlimited. When we have that association with the Supreme Lord, there is no limit to our happiness. It keeps on coming, it keeps on increasing every time. So that's why there is no way that we'll get dissatisfied, and it's always ever increasing, and will not be able, will not go out of that relationship anymore.
Thank you, Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, in the practice of Krishna consciousness, a devotee engages all the gates of the body to reach the state of pure goodness, which is a Vishuddha Sattva. For example, the devotee uses the eyes and ears to read and hear the scriptures, the nostrils to smell the flowers of the offered to the Lord, the mouth to taste the food offered to the Lord, and to chant the Maha Mantra, which is all of us say together: Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Any questions before we close today's session? Okay. If not, we'll say Hare Krishna one more time and we'll close. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare
भगवान श्री कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय, ग्रंथराज भगवत गीता की जय, शिल प्रभात की जय. All glories to Krishna, Hare Krishna, all glories to Vaishnava devotees, Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Thank you.